So, hey there, I'm Adam from Next Architects. And at Next Architects, we're about helping the next generation of architects build healthy and successful careers. So this video I'm doing is part of a series where I highlight people that I'm inspired by right from inside of our Facebook group, the Next Architects community. So I want to share stories with you so you can walk away inspired and motivated to work towards building a career that you love. And so today is going to be the first interview I've done with someone from our community. And with us today, I have Abdallah Elcherbini. I'd love it if you could just introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Abdallah Elcherbini. I wanted to first of all thank you, Adam, for having me on this blog. I am truly honored. So my career started all the way. Actually, I was born here first in the United States, and my family moved, from one country to the other when I was very young. So I got to experience a lot of different cultures and, different people along the way, which I think was really beneficial to me and, how I view the world. I grew up mostly abroad, and then in 2017, after finishing college and working for a year, I decided, all right, I'm packing my bags, I'm coming back home. So I literally packed my bags and I took a flight to JFK, landed, had my briefcase. I remember standing at JFK looking at New York City, I'm like, wow, I'm finally here. I guess I made it. Well, technically halfway. I still needed to find a job. And, it just started off from there. I thought I'd enjoy the city for a couple of weeks first and then start looking for a job. But things quickly sort of changed. The dynamic changed. I met a friend who works for an architect, and he introduced me, and it sort of, it jump-started. My career kind of jump-started a lot sooner than I had expected, at least my career in the United States. And I guess things went well from there. I obviously realized I had a uphill battle. I needed to learn a lot of new things. Just the way buildings are built here, the expectations, the demand, the workload, the flow. Just the whole thing was all new to me. Coming from a culture that was, really relaxed when it comes to work. I can, in some confidence, say what I did in a day working in New York City is more than what I accomplished in a week working back where I did abroad. And that's just to put things in perspective. So yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a brief to me on how my kind of career got kickstarted here in New York City. Adam, if you have any questions, if I missed something, let me know.
No, that's your story. No, I love that. Where were you working at before internationally? Where were you stationed at?
So I graduated from the American University in Cairo, which is in Egypt. Cairo is the capital city. I worked in Egypt for about a year. It was a German company called Bill Finger. They in turn worked or were hired by IBM at the time. I think they were their global partners when it comes to construction projects and that kind of thing. So I got a chance to work on two IBM projects, two fit-out projects for IBM. One for the digital sales team and the other for the technical team. Really amazing projects. Got to meet a lot of great people. Definitely learned a lot. Couldn't have asked for a better start to my career, in all honesty. I think that was an amazing start. It was a brand new sort of unit at Bill Finger. It wasn't yet fully developed. So I think I was their first or second hiree. It was just the manager and me for the first 6 months until they started hiring more people. So I really got exposed. I got put out there. I was being asked to do things I've never even heard of. So yet again, here I am, uphill battle, trying to learn things that I didn't know from college or I was never taught. So it was a challenge, but I loved every second of it. obviously I did come over to New York City, so there was a caveat. I kind of felt, okay, this is amazing. I'm probably never going to get to experience this again, but is this it? I kind of asked that question: is this it? Does it get any better than this? Can I challenge myself more? I didn't feel that I was, at my full potential. And
So you just decided I'm gonna go work in New York and I'm just gonna figure it out.
I actually never specified New York initially. So I said, I'm going to take a break for a month because during the two projects, they kind of overlapped in Egypt. So I spent about 11 months without a day off. And they would ask me to come in Saturdays. They would ask me to come in on the weekend. It was just like a whole,
Yeah.
shebang over there. So
So this was a break.
this was a break. It was a planned break that I needed the time off. And I came to the United States. I first came to New York City with the intent that I was going to travel all across the United States. I was going to see California. I was going to see Florida. I was going to go up to my friends in Toronto, in Canada. I had all these like amazing plans. Everything was booked. The hotels were there. The flights were done. And it just never happened. I went straight from planning to enjoy, my time off to writing emails saying I can't come back. I got a new job, guys. I'm so sorry for the lack of notice, and I'm moving to the United States officially.
What's the story behind that? How'd you get to that point? I feel like I'm missing something.
It's I mean, I don't know. I felt like my motivation came from being satisfied and fulfilled at work. And I just wasn't really truly feeling that in Egypt. It kind of made the decision a bit easier for myself because, all my friends were back home, my family was back home. Um, and it just felt like, all right, am I going to just jump ship and leave? I had this great job. Um, and I said, nothing good in life comes without risk. And I thought about that statement over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, I got to make this decision. I got to risk it. I can't ever expect to, reach my full potential without even risking a little. And this early in my career, I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's not like I've been working for 5 years. I've only been working for a year, and I finished my two projects. So it's not like I left them, hanging, as they say. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really cool. Yeah, you're still in your 20s, right?
Yes, I am 27. I came here 23 and then turned 24 within a couple of months. So
that's insane, dude.
Yeah.
And then I know a little bit more about you than the people who are watching this. You've actually started doing your own company, right?
Yes. So something I learned after working at the current firm that I'm working at is I wanted to learn even more. So I wasn't happy with just getting what my firm was willing to offer. I wanted to push myself even further. I was like, I have to catch up. It was a catch up game for me initially. And then after that, it was, I need to get better at this. And then after that, I'm actually enjoying this. So within like the first 3-4 months, I realized, all right, I have to put myself out there. I have to kind of expose myself, which is something I absolutely hated doing. I hate that feeling, it's just putting myself out there. I was afraid of, rejection, being told I don't know anything, being told I'm not good enough, all that kind of stuff. And it kind of was me over exaggerating in my head. It was never really as bad as that. If anything, I got a lot of positivity doing that. Not just from my colleagues, but from the people I did services for. So I opened up a company, and basically I decided initially that I was going to do things that I don't do in the office, right? So in the office, we do residential, commercial, architectural drawings, maybe some structural, right? Light structure. I wanted to do the stuff architects really tend to stay away from, mechanical, plumbing, hard structure, foundation, soil, that kind of stuff. And it really opened my eyes to how much there is in this field, how much there is in this profession. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of moving parts. And I think to be for me to call myself an architect down the road, once I'm licensed, I want to be able to understand all these moving parts, and I want to know how they work, and just, I guess, I wanted to have experience doing stuff like that.
Sometimes it takes a little bit more than the average like day-to-day work. I know that you've learned a lot by being able to pursue some of this stuff yourself for your company. But I know that you're doing your company while working for your current company, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
how did you even strike that? Like, I'm thinking of people who are going to be watching this, and they want to start their own thing, but you've approached it to where you've got a deal where you're doing your day job, but you're also doing this. So how'd you even come up with this? How'd you pitch it? How did it work out?
So the first thing was to get permission, right? I needed to speak to my boss. I need to make sure that he was okay with it, and that he needed not to worry, right? That there wasn't, I wasn't going to sacrifice the office work for my own private work. And after sitting down with him, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to learn more. And I can guarantee you that you will start seeing the benefits of this in the future, in the near future. It won't take long. I just want the opportunity to actually do it. He was okay. Initially, he had his reservations, until I proved to him, and this is something that I pride myself with. I am a man of my word. I know it might sound too good to be true, but if I say I will do something, I do it. I do everything I can to do it. I never go back on my word. If I give you my word, I will do it. And I gave him my word. I asked him to trust me. He took a leap of faith, and he trusted me. And it came back to benefit both him and me. So within 6-7 months, I was already pretty much caught up with what I needed to know, the differences in constructions between where I started work and how they do it here in the United States. And I think from that point on, I just needed to learn how to time management, how to, deal with, all right, so now I have these two very, very demanding jobs, right? Two very full-time, very demanding jobs. I needed to kind of time management. So initially it was, you're looking at 60, 70, 80 hours a week, just pure craziness, just going full at it, 12 to 14 hour days, in the morning before work, at night after work, kind of full-time during the weekends. But that was just to start it off, right? That was like a kickoff. All right, now that I have everything set, now that I understand how long things take, I'm kind of getting used to it, getting the hang of things. It started becoming easier. The same tasks that would take me, 6, 7 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours to finish, it's now taking me probably a quarter of the time, because practice makes perfect. And this is the beauty about this field. It's not like we have to recreate a new rocket every time we have to, do a new project. It's pretty much you end up using some parts from very similar projects, and they end up being identical with very minor changes most of the time. And the same goes for the mechanical jobs, and the same mechanical, plumbing, structural jobs. Yeah, I redo the numbers, make sure everything works out, it checks out. But overall, it's, kind of the same detail. You got this, you got that, same notes, kind of give or take,
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, I kind of see a commonality with what I do with Next Architects, and that's, I do this after the day job, right? So when I'm not working an architecture firm, I'm communicating with people that I want to do business with. I am writing emails, creating templates for myself to speed up my workflow, right? I am interviewing people, building communication skills. Just there's so many soft skills that you can build if you're building something on the side. That can translate to your job, right? So I think that's really cool how you were able to expand your knowledge and learn what you wanted to learn to be successful, and then you were able to bring that into the work that you do. So that's how you delivered your promise.
Absolutely. And
I wanted to just ask one more question, going backwards a little bit. A lot of people, they have a dream or something that they want to do, or maybe they just want a promotion or something they want to build for themselves in their career. But a lot of pushback might come from within that stops them from bringing it up to kind of putting themselves out there and taking that risk and bringing it up to their boss. I'd like to know, how do you deal with that? What made you decide, I'm gonna bring it up because this is what I want to do. Like, did you have that same kind of pushback and broke through it? Did it not exist? I just want to kind of know, how did you go through that process?
I think that's a great question. It was really, really hard, right? Again, personally, if I didn't set the bar high, just high enough for me to achieve it, I would never push myself the way I did. And I compared myself. I was like, all these successful people, how did they ever become successful? They had to sacrifice something. They had to go beyond their comfort zone. It just doesn't come easy. Or if it did, that it's like 1 in a million, and I'm not that 1 in a million. So I was like, all right, I'm going to look at this as a math problem. I'm going to try to invest X amount of time in and try to get, something in return out of it. Right. So the more I invest, the more I get. And it's kind of like, that's the way I looked at it initially. Right. So the more I invest, the more I get. But then I realized, all right, well, in order for me to actually get what I want to, I have to go beyond my comfort zone. I have to be sure that this is what I want. And I just, I sat with myself and I asked myself these questions. I was like, do I really want to open up my own firm? Do I really want to go up to my boss and tell him in his face that I want to open up my own firm? Maybe he'll take it the wrong way. Maybe he'll fire me, maybe this, maybe that. And then it hit me right in the face. I was like, it doesn't matter, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? It's obviously not going to be what I had in my head. He obviously was not going to fire me just because I asked him, can I open up my own firm? Like I said, things started happening very slowly initially. Just, I needed to get used to being out of my comfort zone. But now, today, anytime I feel that I'm going to be put outside my comfort zone, I just jump. I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to do this because the results are they're amazing, at least for me. I mean, every time I finish something that I was very uncomfortable with starting, I'm like, I'm so proud of myself. I knew I could do this. I needed the guts to actually start it. I wanted to jump in. So it's kind of learning how to swim, right? You just jump in, you do it.
I guess after you do it a while, it gets a little easier, but never.
It never goes away.
Yeah, it never goes away. But like, you get better at just jumping.
You get better at jumping. That's really what it is. I just think of myself jumping off that, that ledge into the pool, right? I just want to jump off as quickly as I can. I don't want to think about it too much. I was thinking about it too much. I have second guesses. I always second guess myself. I do this on the NCARB exams. I do this in life. I just stopped second guessing myself across the board on my exams, in life, in general. No more second guessing, no more overthinking. At least I try.
Yeah. I think that's all awesome. I love how passionate you are. And I love that you were able to strike a deal that kind of, you're able to build a career that you love, right? And you're just getting started.
Yeah.
So, part of what Next is about is advice on how to build healthy and successful careers. So I'm just curious, like, how do you take care of yourself? How do you check in? How do you check in and, know that what you're doing is good for you?
I think when daily tasks start becoming monotonous and repetitive and boring and unfulfilling, that's when I know something is wrong. What it is, I'm not sure, but something is wrong. I need to investigate. When I don't have that feeling when I wake up in the morning, yes, I want to go to work. I want to do, architecture. I enjoy this. When I don't have that feeling anymore, I don't have that urge to wake up in the morning, I know something's wrong. And I ask myself questions. I gauge myself. And I was like, what did I do wrong? What am I not doing? Maybe I didn't do anything wrong. Maybe I'm not doing something. And it's usually the case of me doing too much of something for the wrong reason. So a perfect example would be, my boss actually gave me this analogy. He said, you're like a candle that'll burn itself out eventually. And he said that to me because one day he came in and he asked me, how many projects are you doing for your own private work? And I gave him an absurd number. He's like, you're doing all that? I was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, well, you might be proud of yourself, but think of yourself as a candle that'll eventually burn out if you keep doing this for a long time. And it just like a light bulb just went off in my head. I'm like, wow, he has a point. It's no longer that I can do it, right? I'm not proving that I can because I know I can.
Right.
Now I have to maintain that consistency, right? I gave him my word. I'm going to be consistent. I'm not going to let it affect me. And I use that as a gauge. So every quarter, I gauge myself with my tax. Every time I file my taxes, I gauge myself. And that's my perfect gauge. I look at earnings. What did I earn? Revenue. What was my income this quarter? If it's a lot more than it should be, I'm referring to my private work, then usually there's a problem, right? It's not always good. If it's maybe 10% more, not a problem. 10% less, not an issue. If it's 50% more, we have a serious problem. What happened? Why did I take on these jobs? So I start reducing the load a little bit. I start looking back. I start saying, all right, I'm gonna give my body some time. I'm gonna enjoy it. My brain needs to relax. I'm gonna go do some fun stuff. So I usually pick up and travel, go somewhere for the weekend. Go to Orlando, go to Miami, somewhere close, like a 2-hour flight. Back prior to pre-COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
These days, I just go out for a nice walk. I call my family and I'm like, what are you guys doing tonight? Let's do something fun. And just to sort of get away from things, just to detach sometimes.
I love it. Yeah. There's a lot of people talk about work-life balance, right? And I think it just depends on the person, right? So, you're working a lot and that just means you need to be aware, right? So I really like that, you're able to really every quarter you have the schedule of, okay, how am I doing? Is this good for me? Do I need to take a break? And I think that's a really awesome strategy. I think it's so easy to get lost in the weeds and just keep going and going and going and going. And you don't want to look at your life and say, oh, I wish I'd have traveled more, or I wish I would have saw my family, right?
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Yeah.
And I think it all ties into the whole work-life balance thing too. It's just, like I said, I mean, people in the office ask me this question too. Is they're like, how do you maintain it? I'm like, well, it depends. It's just what are my goals compared to yours? What's my situation and circumstances compared to yours? So obviously they're different. No two situations are identical. And my answer is always, it depends when somebody asks me that work-life balance. And I try as best as I can to maintain that work-life balance by doing by my quarterly checks. But my answer to that question to anybody who asks me is, we all kind of need to have that kind of check, that internal check. That scientists keep telling us we have an internal clock that somehow remembers that we need to wake up at this time when we kind of train it to. Well, this is the kind of thing that we need to sort of train, right? That our internal monitor to these things. We have to be able to identify and learn what our body's trying to say. Just like I say in the blog, speak to the building. Well, this is speak to your body, speak to your mind, and that's kind of the thing here, right? It's just being aware of how you feel. I think is a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's great. I forget to check in sometimes, and I like how you say that you're doing the day-to-day and you start to realize, like, I'm falling into this routine that's not me, right? And it kind of like helps you kind of like see what's going on. I sometimes miss that, right? It's a lack of checking in, but that's something I think a lot of us need to try to pay attention to and work on, and even try to just become aware of how to check in, right? So I think that's a really awesome skill that you've developed, and I think that's awesome. I think it's something that we should all kind of strive to do, really, is check in with ourselves. And exactly how we do that, this can be something that I think we're going to learn from each other, right?
Yeah.
And that's how we build our support. So I think that's a really great segue to just ask you, what do you want our listeners to kind of take from this? Is there any words that they can reach out to you? I know we have a blog post that's kind of part 2, part 1 of this video that you guys check out as well. It's got a more in-depth look at some very specific questions I asked Abdallah. And yeah, so what do you want to do to close off this video? What do you want to talk about?
I guess I just want to tell everybody that's watching, thank you for watching. Take out whatever you want to take out. Like I said to Adam before, sometimes I can expect people to take out certain things, but then reality says everybody takes out their own thing. Everybody benefits their own way. And that's really what I want everybody to understand is do your own thing. You are your own you. Figure it out for yourself. We're all here with you. You can ask me anytime, reach out to me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I'd love to meet you guys. And I'm here to listen. I'm here to help if I can. And like I said, I'm in the same boat like you guys. We're all in the same boat together. And I think together we'll make it work.
Dude, I love your perspective, Abdallah. I really do. You inspire me. That's why I have you on here. So I really hope that anybody listening that you feel inspired to, and feel free to reach out to them. So appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, Adam. I'm truly honored to be a part of this amazing group. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. All right, have a good one.
You too. Take it easy, guys. Take care, Adam. Bye.